Welcome back, Short Kings. Have you ever found yourself staring at this? Spending more time scrolling through your game library than actually playing games? Should I play this? Nah. Maybe this? Not today. But eventually. And somehow an hour has passed and you haven't even started playing anything. Oh, it's time for bed already. Well, you're not alone. Today I'm going to explore why having more games than ever is actually making us play less, and what we can do about it. Just to be clear, this isn't a video about tackling the backlog. Instead, it's about starting the game. Any game. And although this channel is focused on PlayStation games, the psychology and lessons learned in this video can totally be applied to PC players, especially PC players, because you guys have the most choice. In a famous study, shoppers were given the choice of buying jam from a pile of 6 options, and then the next day, a pile of 24 options. The shoppers who had less choice came out on top. We'll get into that study in more details later. This phenomenon has a name. It's called analysis paralysis, and understanding it might just help you enjoy gaming again. The first half of the video is going to go over the theory of why this happens to us, and the second half of the video is going to be all about solutions, actions we can take as gamers to fix this problem once and for all. So skip to that part of the video if you want to just jump right into solutions. Drop a like for the algo to tell YouTube this is a helpful video, and if you're surprised that such a quality video is coming from a channel so small, subscribe to this channel so I can make $2 a video for a week's worth of work. Just a heads up, this video will be quite a deep dive compared to others. I'm even going to be quoting books and studies to get really into the psychology and philosophy of why we are like this. I used to be pretty bad at this too until I found what works for me. After a long day, I'd finally have some time set aside for a gaming session for some much needed escapism and to slowly chip away at the backlog. Sit in my favorite chair, controller in hand, but then the paralysis hits. What do I play? I've got games that I've purchased, monthly games that I've claimed that I still haven't tried yet, and in front of me there's PS Plus Extra, 400 more temptations. And this is just PlayStation games. If you have other consoles or play on PC, forget about it. So many games to choose from. A towering monument of digital games dedicated to the gods of FOMO. So I went to play Control, which I had given up on 2 years ago. But no, it wasn't sticking. Where was I? What mission is this? I don't even remember what this is all about. I don't even remember the controls. Pun intended. Maybe I could try a short game from scratch. At least those games don't ask too much. I bought some on sale recently too. A Short Hike? Or Super Meat Boy? Nah, maybe I should just go back to the old faithful multiplayer matches. At least I don't have to learn anything new controller-wise or remember a story. Just turn off my brain and let muscle memory guide me. But my friends are not even online right now. What was meant to be a relaxing gaming session turned into a stressful decision-making process that ended with me watching YouTube videos of other people playing the games instead of playing anything myself. I was lucky enough to stumble upon a video talking about what I was going through. This is very relatable. I don't know who this Olive Ocelot is, but he definitely deserves more subscribers. He understands me. Wink, wink. And this wasn't a one-time occurrence either. I'd often jump into the multiplayer games hoping that my friends would join, but today wasn't the day. Next thing you know, we got a few thousand hours in Apex, Call of Duty, and Rocket League, and the backlog of unplayed games only got bigger during that time. I've noticed this happening more and more frequently online too. It seems I was far from alone in this experience. Analysis paralysis. Like the name suggests, when our brains are overwhelmed with choices, we freeze, making it really hard to make any decision. Psychologists call this choice overload or overchoice, a cognitive process where people have difficulty making a decision when faced with many options. And in gaming, this problem has never been more relevant. Steam has been popping out more and more games year after year, yet the most played games have been what I experienced, the multiplayer classic choices. In 2023, a record-breaking 15,000 games were released on Steam alone, and yet according to Steam's own statistics, the average user played only 4 games. How much you want to bet that those games were those multiplayer games that we just talked about? What's the point of backlog if we ignore it? Analysis paralysis doesn't just affect our ability to choose a game, it affects our enjoyment of the game once we finally do get around to playing. We start a game, analysis paralysis defeated, but then the creep sets in, wondering if we should play something else. We start second guessing our choice. When will it stop? This really takes away from the immersion of the experience, constantly leaving one foot in the game and another outside in the decision-making process. Why can't we just stay focused on the game we're in and be present? Why is this so hard? This isn't just a gaming problem. Streaming services have been facing the same issue. A Nielsen report found that when faced with too many streaming options, 21% of viewers just gave up and watched nothing at all. This phenomenon extends to music too. Spotify, books, even dating apps. Our entire digital culture is built around endless options. Back in the old days, gaming used to be so much simpler. Didn't have as much choice. Games were expensive physical media, and we couldn't as easily switch between them. We played what we had. Only when we finished did we go out into the world and save up to buy a new one. The decision-making process was largely affected by the finances and by the inconvenience of taking half a day off to go down to the game store and select something new. This is, of course, after doing research of what we should get before we even reach the store. Going back further, even in the arcades, you knew what you wanted to play. If there was a big lineup, you might join in on watching the action of other players competing or go play your second favorite title. You weren't as tempted to play every machine that was in front of you. You knew what you wanted. There was a beauty to the limitation. You committed to mastering Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter, so you could be the guy that other people watched. At no point were you thinking, those other flashy arcades I haven't tried. Maybe I should quit while I'm ahead and spend all my quarters elsewhere. I should give every game in here a try. No way. You were king of the arcade, king of Mortal Kombat, undefeated. Fast forward to today. Thousands of choices and nothing to play. The inconvenience of going to the store and buying something has completely disappeared. We now have predominantly digital games. You can just sit on your butt at home and buy 20 games a day if you wanted to. Games are often discounted 80, 90% off. If I don't buy them now, then they may go back to full price. With PS Plus Extra, Game Pass, and EA Play, we have access to hundreds of games for the price of just one new one. There's even free games being given away on Epic Games. Heck, there's even free games, period. Some of those most popular games we talked about are free games. This has created an environment of endless choice. The average gamer, especially with a subscription service, now has access to hundreds of games at any given moment. We are drowning in options, and it's affecting our ability to enjoy any single game fully.
Vaccine. Yes.
The science, or the psychology. The simple fact is the more choice there is, the less satisfaction there is, and also more regret. American psychologist Barry Schwartz wrote a book in 2004 called The Paradox of Choice. In the book, he demonstrated why giving less choices to a customer actually boosts the sales and makes the shopkeeper less stressful. In a famous study by psychologists Sheena and Mark, shoppers in California were given the options of 24 jam jars on a small table with 24 different flavors. They could sample as many jams as they wanted and were even given a $1 off coupon to purchase their favorite jam. The next day, they repeated the same experiment, but this time they only had 6 jams on the table. 6 jams, 6 flavors. Again, the customers could sample as many as they wanted and were also given a $1 off coupon. Do you know what the two samples had in common? The number of flavors sampled. Whether it was 6 or 24, no one wanted to sample more than 2 jams. But here's the kicker. How many bought the jam? The day with the fewer options, 30% of shoppers used that $1 off coupon and bought the jam. But the day before, when they had way too many options, only 3% of shoppers bought that jam. That's 10 times less. This same principle applies to our ever-growing gaming libraries. The paradox of choice tells us that you can greatly reduce anxiety for shoppers by simply eliminating consumer choices. Less choice, less stress. Schwartz argued in his book that too many options forces us to invest more time and effort into making decisions and thinking about it, which raises our expectations but increases the likelihood of regret. So let's bring it back to gaming for a second. Have you ever bought that game that everyone keeps talking about it, or maybe just tried it on PS Plus Extra, and after a few hours in you think, oh, okay, well, this was a waste of time. This is definitely not for me. And on the flip side, have you ever just downloaded a game out of instinct, knowing nothing about it, but you had the time of your life? Afterwards, you go and check reviews and see that it's universally panned. Everyone hates it. It's a bad game. When we have zero expectations, we see all the good. But when we have high expectations, we're just waiting to find the flaws and be disappointed. So with hundreds of games available, we're constantly wondering if we're playing the right one. As desirable as choice and freedom is, it reduces the pleasure we take on our eventual selection. That's why I personally love The Last Chance to Play. It forces me to play something I've been putting off. But that's jumping to solutions. We'll get to that soon. Boot up your PlayStation. What do you see? First thing you see is all the games that are installed and showing up on the home screen. Multiple options already. But then we get notifications about the games our friends are playing. There's also advertisements for what games are on sale. Oh, what's that? What's new on Extra this month? The home screen itself has become a battleground for competing options, fighting for our attention. The second we boot up, we're already bombarded with alternatives. Unless, of course, you put it on rest mode the last time you played. If you go all the way to the right, the library is waiting for you to tempt you with even more options. Options that you have actively sought, whether you added them to the library from monthly games or games that you've purchased in the past. Personally, I only go in the library after I've beaten the game, because there's no satisfaction like the satisfaction that comes from deleting a game off your console storage. It feels so good to finally see the backlog shrinking. So many games just waiting for us. Whenever we see them sitting there unfinished or even unplayed, we feel bad. I'll eventually get to you, little buddy.
Marauder patrol. Shit.
The unexpected consequences. The unfinished game Epidemic. Did you know that almost 90% of gamers don't finish a game? There's been a few studies and articles on this. But if you don't believe me, just open up your trophies for the game you are playing right now. Look for a trophy in there that signifies the end of the main story. Look at that trophy and check out the percentage underneath. How many actually got to that part? I'm not talking about a platinum here either. I'm talking just getting to the end of the basic main story. Why is the percentage so low? Why are we like this? We start so many games and get distracted or give up halfway. I'm currently playing Resident Evil 3 right now before it goes away, and here's what I'm talking about. 86.4% of players beat Chapter 1. Chapter 2, 81.9. Not bad, only lost 5%. But look at this. Chapter 3, already down to 51.7%. We lost almost half the people so far. What happened? Did the game suddenly become bad? Why did almost half of us give up so early? Have you ever tried getting back into an open world game after a month or two hiatus? It's so hard knowing what you're supposed to do, and then you have to get used to the controls again. Even game designers know this. The detailed quest log, objective markers, recap features at the beginning of every chapter. You start to question if doing a straight run through finishing multiple chapters in one day is out of the norm. I don't need a recap of what happened 2 hours ago. I'm still here. These aren't just conveniences for the odd gamer who might take a break from the game. These are necessities in a world where players often return to games weeks or even months after last playing it. So many games demand more and more from us. Hundreds of hours of commitment, and you're expected not to take a break? Each game is competing for our limited time and attention. Resources that deplete as you get older and tack on more real-life responsibilities. So it's no surprise that the majority of us don't even finish the game. Completing games has become such a commitment, it's almost a job.
Every day his imagination grew stronger.
Gaming spectatorship. Another unexpected consequence is the rise of gaming as a spectator activity. We're thinking about games at work, even though when we get home, we don't even play. Twitch and YouTube gaming viewerships have exploded, with millions choosing to watch others play rather than play themselves, or people going online just to be told what to play. Thanks for subscribing. While there are many factors contributing to this trend, analysis paralysis still plays a role. It's easier to let someone else make the game choice for us than to navigate our own overwhelming libraries. We outsource our decision-making to streamers and content creators, letting them curate our gaming journey and experiences. We know that committing to the wrong game means wasting precious hours that are dwindling with age and real-life responsibilities. Being told what to play is great, because not only does it narrow down the choice, but then you get to have a community to share it with. If you and your friend play the same thing, you get to talk to someone about the game after you beat it. So even if we don't play the games they're streaming, at least we had a positive memory associated with those games, which is why I started a subreddit community. Join us there for our Game of the Month book club. Extra, short, and sweet. Let's take a break from gaming.
Are you filled with feelings of self-doubt? Do you find yourself prone to minimizing massive dilemmas, or for allowing the smallest problems to get blown completely out of proportion?
Different industries are tackling this phenomenon in different ways, but I'm not sure they're making things easier. Netflix, Spotify, and YouTube are investing heavily in recommendation-based algorithms. We think you should watch this. They're trying to simplify choices, but it sometimes has the opposite effect, because it recommends far beyond what we're searching for. Other places have curated subscription boxes, telling you what to watch, what to play. It's like back in the video rental days. You'd have thousands of choices in the store, but in the front, you'd have a section where the staff hand-picked out their favorites. And once you found a staff member that had your taste, you trusted them for their next movie pick. This is precisely why my channel focuses on PS Plus Extra and shorter games, to help you cut through the noise and find experiences that respect your time. It's a much better feeling downloading and beating a sub 10-hour game than a 100-hour plus grind. Plus, we get to play more games overall. So just by being here and watching this video and subscribing, you've already taken the first step to solving your problem. Congratulations, you made it halfway through the video. The second half of the video is going to be all about solutions.
Delivering cargo.
Solutions and strategy.
You look good, Sam. Up and ready to go.
These are the things that helped me tackle my own analysis paralysis. Number 1, last chance to play. Now, for many subscribers, the worst thing about PlayStation Plus Extra and other subscription services is the leaving portion. Games leaving, movies leaving. They want everything to be there forever and for the catalog to grow and grow. If you've watched this far in this video, you know that's a terrible idea. We already have too much choice. Let's not make the pile even bigger, okay? Games have to leave for others to fill in their space. This is a good thing. It's a good thing because something finally stops the choices from growing. But it's a great thing because it puts a timer on your decision. If you see a game that you really wanted to play showing up in the last chance to play section, you immediately have to make a decision. It's now or never, boys. It puts a fire under your butt. God forbid that 2 or more games show up on your backlog in the last chance to play. Then you really have to make a decision. Which one are you going to play and which one are you going to admit that you're probably never going to start? Limitation breeds creativity. In this case, limitation with a deadline breeds action. Otherwise, that FOMO is going to be huge. So that's tip 1. Let last chance to play guide you. Put every other game on hold and put all your effort into beating the games that will go away. Now, if you're on PC, this is a tough topic. If you buy more games, the choices grow, but you don't get any happier. And a subscription service might seem like a waste of money because you don't get to keep the games. But lucky for you, there are options. Something similar to this Game of the Month that will go away thing we got going on in Extra. Which brings us to our first sponsor. Joking. They're not paying me to say this, but I will use affiliate links. Humble Bundle has been around for the last 15 years. And its main feature has been a collection of games that drop every single month. You get to pick which game you want from this curated collection, just like PS Plus. In fact, they did it before. But here's what makes it different than PS Plus. Pay what you can, donating a percentage to your charity of choice, and the option of opting out if you don't like this month's selections. This makes the process of selecting what game to play a little bit easier, but only if you commit to it. You have to actually play the games of the month every month. Don't treat it like another Steam sale and hoard even more games that you're never gonna play. So just like PS Plus, treat this as your last chance to play. But unlike PS Plus, you can just choose to skip that month. And the games don't actually leave, which is why it's extra important to actually play the game that you downloaded this month. Sometimes these artificial constraints are exactly what we need to break through the paralysis. Number 2. Organize your options. There's this thing called the Eisenhower Matrix. It's a time management tool that categorizes tasks based on their urgency and importance. It splits the tasks into 4 quadrants based on how urgent and how important the task is. So when we see the last chance to play games, they fit on the left side. They can be either games we want to play or games we don't care about. And on the right side, there's monthly games and backlog extra games. And then there's games that we've bought and are keeping forever. Everything on the right is not leaving. So there's no urgency. So let's focus on the most important and urgent games to play. Now, if there's nothing on the last chance to playlist that interests you, these are the games on your PlayStation storage right now. Now, with the base 1TB storage of the PS5, you don't even have that much room, so it limits you in a good way. If you have 2 multiplayer games that you play with your friends, you're already running out of space. So that's the constraint we're going to focus on. By choice or not, every time you want to add a new game, you have to delete an old game that didn't click. That's all it is for the organizing tip. I know it seems obvious, but just play the games that have more urgency to them. Number 3, keep it fresh. The worst thing you could do is have multiple similar games on your console storage. For example, if you only have Siege, Apex, and Call of Duty on your system, or all RPG games, or just sports games, you're going to get fatigued more easily because you're using the same part of your brain and there's nothing fresh. Spice it up a bit. Try playing a new genre. Try playing a new publisher at least. If you're getting tired of the Ubisoft grind, don't just start the next Ubisoft game right after. Try to have one of each. A story game, a pick up and play game, and a multiplayer game. Let's start with a story-driven game for when you really want to be immersed in a story. But try not to take too long of a break from this one because you need to keep the story fresh in your mind. Recommended titles, we have Control, Yakuza, Uncharted, Ratchet & Clank, just anything that has a linear story where every play session feels like you chipped away slowly at the progress. Next, let's throw a game that's pick up and play for some hyper-quick gaming action. This is the sort of game you want to have on your console when you don't even have an hour to game, but you want to still maximize the fun. It can be online, something like Fall Guys, or better yet, something off extra like Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge, or an indie puzzler even. Shoot 'em up, beat 'em up, even a golf game. You want something where the levels take less than 10 minutes. These games will be your palate cleanser, allowing you to take a break from the big grindy games. The last game is your typical multiplayer game you play with your friends. This can be your Call of Duty or Rocket League. These games do waste your time. Yes, with 0 actual story progress. But it's a chance to hang out with your friends, and this is the closest thing guys have to group video chats with each other. By organizing your games into categories, you simplify your decision-making process. The next time you boot up the game, instead of, what game should I play? I want you to think, how much time do I have for this gaming session? If you have less than 30 minutes, play that quick beat 'em up for instant action. If you have an hour or 2 or more, boot up that story game and shave an hour or 2 off the main campaign. You'll be done in no time. If your friends are online and invite you to play multiplayer, where we dropping, boys? Having these pre-made decisions eliminates the need to evaluate the entire library each time you sit down to play. Number 4, platinums. Okay, now for some people, this is how you're supposed to play games, and that's totally fine. But for me, out of all the platinums I've achieved over the years, the only one that sticks out as being worth it and being a positive experience was Animal Well. Every other game I played and beat, I often look back with distaste at the platinum grind. Great, fantastic games like Returnal. Loved every minute of it. But getting the platinum meant dealing with RNG. Finding artifacts that are randomly generated. So you boot up the game and die on purpose over and over again until the final piece of your collection spawns in the right biome. It soured the experience so much. Recently, the same thing happened with the Cult of the Lamb. Great game. But for some reason, my brain was like, get the platinum. You can do it. And surprise, another RNG collectible. Platinum trophies are great for back when we used to buy games at full price because we wanted to get the most out of our dollar. But with PS Plus Extra, any extra time you spend on a game that you've already said goodbye to is a longer break before you start the next one. And the platinum grind really overstays its welcome the majority of the time. Number 5. Use the 5-second rule. Open up your library and pick a game within 5 seconds. Commit to playing it for at least half an hour. This approach is inspired by Mel Robbins' productivity technique. It sort of short circuits the overthinking process. Number 6. The power of rest mode. If you're playing a single-player story mode type game, put it in rest mode when you take a break. The next time you boot up, the game is exactly where you left it. Your character is standing in the exact same spot. Even though the PS5 has such amazing loading times, something about skipping the main menu and skipping those intro logos just skips all the BS. When you see your character, it makes it more immediate. Your brain automatically goes into, okay, right, where was I? Okay, here we go again. Right into the action. Rest mode just ignores everything and narrows your focus into one singular task. Where do I go next? All right, we're going to go quicker through these next tips. Number 7, set clear completion criteria. So for example, for story games, this might mean getting to chapter 2 before the end of the night. For open world sandbox games, this could be reach level 25 in 2 hours, or just try doing 2 side quests. Having defined endpoints helps prevent the endless drift between partially completed experiences. Number 8, create themed gaming nights. Monday for indies, Wednesdays for RPGs, the weekend for multiplayer. Having a predetermined structure eliminates the need to make decisions from scratch every time you play. Number 9, join game clubs where everyone plays the same game each month. This creates external structure. I actually run one on my subreddit for this channel. By joining communities like this, there's a built-in accountability and shared experience that can motivate you to stick with the game when the initial excitement wears off. Plus, it's always nice to talk about the game after you've beat it. It's like after you watch a movie at the theater and that walk back to the car. It's only human nature to see if somebody else shared our experience. Number 10, stop buying new games you know you're never gonna play. If it's on sale now, it'll be on sale again in the future. Yes, I know my favorite game of all time is on sale for 40% cheaper than Steam right now in Humble. But do not download these highly recommended games if you're not actually going to play them right away. With PS Extra, there's less guilt. We didn't actually pay for each individual game, so you lose nothing by getting rid of it. Number 11, mental stickiness. Okay, so mental stickiness is usually a negative thing associated with anxiety and depression, but it also can have positive effects. Basically, it's when you can't stop thinking about something you can't let go of. Anxiety is a conspiracy theory about yourself, but in our case, it's a side effect of exposure therapy. I stumbled upon this by accident just from doing videos for you guys. So before making any videos about a game, I like to try to actually play the game, so my recommendations are more authentic. But when I'm making these last chance to play videos, there's bound to be at least a couple of games that I haven't tried. So recently I downloaded a bunch of games and played about an hour of each. What I discovered while gathering footage was fascinating. The games I was most likely to play until completion weren't necessarily the games with the best ratings. They were the games that I found myself thinking about when I wasn't playing any games at all. So just by experiencing an hour of each game, I got the gist of the story and the game mechanics of each one. After taking a break from playing so many games in a row, which I do not recommend, in their absence, the decision was clear in my head about which game I was going to play next, and which one I'd probably delete. I couldn't stop thinking about them. This mental stickiness might be a better gauge of what's worth your time than any critic or review score. So stick with what clicks for you. And then lastly, just take a break. Game fasting. Taking a short break from all the games to reset your relationship with your gaming library. Sometimes stepping away briefly can renew your appreciation and enthusiasm. And when you return, clarity will return. Some more philosophies. Philosopher Søren Kierkegaard wrote about the anxiety of possibility, which he also called the dizziness of freedom, the paralysis that comes from having unlimited options, and the potential consequences of making those choices. He suggests that true freedom isn't found in endless choice, but in committing to something specific and living fully within that choice, even in the face of uncertainty and anxiety. Applied to gaming, this means that limiting our options will definitely help enhance our enjoyment. Perhaps the most important realization is that there is no perfect choice. Sometimes the best game to play is simply the one you're playing right now. Closing thoughts. Gaming should be about joy and escape, not stress and obligation. By setting some boundaries on our endless options, we can rediscover what made us fall in love with gaming in the first place. Remember that the goal isn't to optimize every single minute of gaming or play the best games according to critic or social media. The goal is to have experiences that resonate with you personally. Experiences that provide genuine enjoyment, a challenge, or relaxation depending on what you need that day. In a culture obsessed with more frames per second, more content, more pixels, more games, more side quests, more grinding, more mini games. Perhaps the radical choice is to embrace less, fewer games, played more deeply, quality time over quantity of titles, presence over FOMO. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you constantly experience analysis paralysis when it comes to gaming? What strategies have you developed to overcome it? Has your enjoyment of games changed as your library has grown over the years? Let me know in the comments below. If you found this video helpful, please consider subscribing to our channel. We focus specifically on PS Plus extra games and shorter experiences that respect your time. Perfect for fighting analysis paralysis. So thanks for giving me a half hour of your time, even though you should have been spending it playing an actual game. Hopefully this video helps you in the future be more decisive. If you found this video mind-blowing, share it in your favorite subreddit or community. Or maybe more importantly, share it with that friend that really needs it. This video took a ton of work to get done, so if you really want to support the channel, use the affiliate links below. I realize the sales mentioned might have expired by now, so I'll do my best to update the links in the description to reflect the current month's recommendations. Thanks for your time, and until next time, be a friend, and I'll see you again.